It's me, Susie, coming back to the living. Susie of Susie's Spirit Ramblings. It's been too long since I've taken the time to ponder with you and to just discuss what's going on right now. My life has been one roller coaster of you know those times when you have a 24-hour day and you're trying to fit in 30 hours into it? That has been my life over the last few weeks, ever since I took on the second job, which I thought would, help me out, which it is, obviously, but obviously that's when my regular clients decided to pull me back into work. So, trying to do 2 full-time jobs, or 1 3/4 job and 1 full-time job, plus some plus. So it got to a point where this Friday I came home and I said, I have so much I wanted to do. I wanted to clean the house finally over the weekend, finally clean up my house. And I said, well, what am I going to do first? And I said, I'm going to take a nap. So yeah, I took a nap, and then at 5:30 I decided to get up and say, you know what? I am going to start cleaning. And I cleaned until, I think, 11 o'clock at night. And finished the rest yesterday. And today I did some more translation work. So that's been my life. And in the meantime, obviously, I have missed you. I have missed sitting here and just talking to you and doing things I actually love doing, which is these videos. I love doing these videos. They're not getting very much traction right now, which I think is kind of sad, but obviously if I let it go for a month. I had a few subscribers leave, which is sad too, but you know what? I'd like to see more subscribers. I'd like to see people like, subscribe, comment, all of that good stuff. But there are people who are listening in, and I'm grateful for that. I'm liking the fact that people are actually listening to me. So what do you say about what's been going on lately? I mean, everybody's talking about the Epps files. I can't hear it anymore. I mean, the one good thing about being busy is you don't have time to watch the news all the time and listen to your favorite podcasts and all of that. So I was forced to take a step back, which I actually needed. By the same token, things are happening. They are just unbelievable. It's worse than back during Watergate, which I actually remember. I remember listening to the Watergate discussions on TV way back when, and I was still young, but we were having a heat wave, and it was August. Remember, it was August. Yep, we had Watergate going on in, it must have been 50 years ago, and 51. I don't remember exactly what year it was, but I do remember we were having a heat wave, and I was living up in Massachusetts. We were having a heat wave just like we're having now. And I keeled over because I fainted in the middle of getting my hair cut. My stepmother was cutting my hair, and I keeled over. During the Watergate discussions, I guess it was an impeachment or something. I don't remember exactly what it was. But it was on TV, and then, it must have been 73, because then we moved. And he actually resigned after we had moved to another house. I believe that's what it was. Pretty sure that's what it was. So even then I was following in on that. And like I said, I was young. Not quite sure. I don't remember. Well, 73, yeah. Anyway, so in the meantime, I had my birthday, another year older. I feel like I'm 10 years older than the last time I spoke to you. But I'm sure I'm not. So If you are new here, you haven't been here before, I have been following the likes of Linda G and Lori of the Way of Positive Change, Sheila, Celtic Sheila, Danny Shea, Dr. Lena Rodriguez, all of those wonderful psychic readers that have been keeping us upbeat and informed and relaxing our strayed nerves and basically letting us know it's all eventually going to be okay. I've been following them for quite some time now, for several years, and I decided I wanted to go online and talk to you guys myself as well, because sometimes I feel like I have something to say. So back in January 18th, I don't know why I want to say 19th, probably because my birthday's on the 19th, but back in January 18th, I sat there and decided to write down my thoughts, and then I decided to give my fingers over to Spirit and let them respond to what it was that was on my mind at the time. I was so upset about the upcoming... There's my cat up there. Hello, Charlie. I was so upset about the upcoming inauguration of the, for entertainment purposes, would-be pretend president. We all knew he wasn't, because we all felt it when November came along and went. We all knew something was amiss. So I was upset that they were not doing anything about it, so I started writing about it, and we're just living through it right now. I think we are coming close to a downfall of kinds. We just have to take one look at the Orange Menace and see that things are not right. And then, of course, if you listen to the others, Rosie's insights and Corinna, you get a feel for, and you feel relieved that you're not the only one who's having these knowings, the feeling that this is not right, and people are out there who concur. And when I went to Germany last year in December, I told my friends, there's something amiss here, this is not right, and I told them exactly what I was thinking and feeling and what we were talking about online, and people just looked at me like, you're weird. Yeah. And to be honest, obviously, we do not want to be in a nation where we can't trust the results, right? But that is exactly where we are, and that is exactly what we need to work on. So anyway, I'm doing things a little bit different today, as you can see, because I didn't write very much. I started writing again on Thursday, July 31st, and I'm going to read that to you, and then we're going to do some more cards. What I was saying at first was, we just keep listening to all of this nonsense going on as if the Orange Menace had nothing to do with Jeffrey Epstein. Of course he did. We know that. Everybody who's been following him for the last 40-something years knows that he has been involved in all sorts of shenanigans that we don't want to put a name to, but we know. We know who this man is. We knew it back in 2015 when he came down the elevator, and we knew when he was elected. But then there are others who believe the gaslighting and the crap that comes out of that man's mouth. So that's where we stand. So I'm trying to stay calm, taking a deep breath, staying calm. And I know things are going to be okay. And from what I'm hearing and from what I'm feeling, yeah, it's all about ready to turn. So the other thing I wanted to point out was, I know I'm right because of the things that have happened that my spirit guides have told us will happen. Remember when we were talking about the weather? Yes, the weather. And my spirit said we would have a major earthquake in Japan, which would reverberate throughout the Pacific Ocean and into the west coast of the United States. And in fact, there was an 8.8 8.8 earthquake. It was in Russia, but it was at an island, the very tip of Russia, which is just north, slightly north of where Japan is. So actually I wanted to go online before and look up to see what consequences it was for Japan, and all I saw were very big waves heading towards the islands of Japan. So tsunami type waves, I'm sure they had, but I'm sure they were prepared because of the tsunamis that they've been experiencing over the last 10-15 years themselves. So I'm sure they have taken precautions in the meantime and know what to do with it. And the only reason I'm bringing that up is because I'm thinking Spirit is leading me, and those are actually events that my spirit guides talked about in one of my readings. The next thing that we should experience will be, unfortunately, a major hurricane coming this way towards Florida. I still think it's going to hit the East Coast towards etwas, half German, somewhat north of Fort Lauderdale. And then it's going to head, my opinion, I am not a weather forecaster. I watch The Weatherman. Many of you probably do. He's great. He's from the islands. I watch The Weatherman, and he's also saying now, yes, the ones coming off of Africa will probably develop in the Atlantic. So my guides were saying it's coming towards the north of the eastern part of Florida, north of Fort Lauderdale, going up into the Carolinas, and then crossing the state somehow. So I am assuming here on the West Coast we will get some of that as well, and it's going to be a rough summer or hurricane season. So here we are on the West Coast. I'm in Punta Gorda, close to Cape Coral, and we went through Ian, we went through Irma, we went through, what was this, Melvin last year? I think it was Melvin. And I can't keep track of all those names. Before that was with Florence. Florence went into Asheville and destroyed a lot of Asheville. So, but it came here first, north of us. And yeah, we're going to have to be prepared for that, which is, I've been through several now, so I'm thinking we usually have enough warning. We don't need to depend on the National Weather Service, which Mr. Humpty Dumpty has gotten rid of. There are other people out there also reporting on what's going on in the oceans. So, I'm babbling away with you because I just enjoy babbling with you. I am going to read from what my guide said, which was a lot of it's personal, but then there's some of it that I found very interesting, and I thought you might be interested in reading and learning about yourself. The Supreme Court. The future of the Supreme Court. And in true Mercury retrograde fashion, my computer is not acting the way I want it to, so I'm just going to go over to my teleprompter and speak to you as if I'm talking to you through the screen. It's not doing what I want it to do to show both of them at the same time. So, here we go. Let's start. July 31st, 2025. Another month has passed, and I haven't been able to sit down and write. Be careful for what you wish for, I guess. I asked for work, and boy, did it come rushing in. What I really want is financial security and a way to just do what I want when I want. But I must say, it's good to have a group of colleagues to work with, and working with a startup is kind of invigorating. Even though I'd rather be more than just an office administrator, still I'm pulling together a marketing strategy, and I feel like I'm doing good work. Obviously, my regular work picked up as soon as I took a three-quarter job, so that the last 2 weeks were really crazy. Now translation has slowed down again. We shall see how this evolves. I really see myself as a higher-up position, and I'm doing my best to, and having faith that I will one day, all of this hard work will one day pay off. Or once again, I will be giving all my all and just be taken advantage of. But honestly, I always give my all. That's just how I am. And maybe I need to change that. But how do you change who you are? I'm not sure. Something my guides might want to talk to me about. I've tried to stay away from too much of the political chaos. How can you, though? The Epps files are all anyone is talking about right now. The Orange Menace is somehow making it through another few days, weeks, even months. He looks terrible. Will this finally wake up the MAGA folks? Finally? Only 27% approval rating. Still way too much if you ask me. Rosie was channeling how this man was in fact a major player in the trafficking organization with international ties, very high up in the ranks. If you have not watched any of Rosie Insights, you should look her up. She's really good and very detailed, and she goes and basically researches everything before she talks about it. So anyway, Rosie was channeling how this man was in fact a major player in the trafficking organization with international ties, very high up in the ranks, as in internationally. How he was introduced, she talked about how he was introduced to Ghislaine's father, how he had ties to the mafia bosses through Roy Cohen. It's all disgustingly fascinating how intertwined it all is. But the poor victims. Yet the government and the media are focusing on testimony from Maxwell and Trump's biographer Wolf. Can someone please talk to the women, the girls who were violated? Can we stop playing rank in this situation? I have been pulling away, but simply because everything is so chaotic and crazy. The Orange Menace in Scotland on the taxpayer's dime to push his own golf courses and invest in new ones. Meanwhile, the Scottish Welcoming Committee made sure he knew that he was definitely not welcome there. Then there's reports of children starving in Gaza, of Russians bombing innocent people in Ukraine, the rounding up of innocent people by ICE, alligator Alcatraz, the big ugly bill passed, and all I hear people talking about are the midterms. It's almost August, and these terrible incidents are just dragging on while we pay the price of higher costs at the grocery store, the gas pump, and everywhere else. It's enough to drive you insane. It's all so terrible, so sad. What has happened to this world? Not to mention the 8.8 earthquake. I said, or rather my guides did, that there'd be one in Japan, but it was in fact in Russia. And like I researched later, it was just north of Japan. Still, it affected Japan, Hawaii, California, Alaska, so there we go. I hope I'm right on other things as well. Kamala announcing yesterday that she won't run for governor in California. Well, duh, yeah, of course not. I've said the whole time. I've said this the whole time too. Why would she? She won the process that we went through back in late fall last year. Some words I just can't say on YouTube. As if on cue, today the announcement by the CIA whistleblowers that NSA reports were hidden, showing that she in fact won by a landslide. You know, some of us are really not surprised. We've known this all along. The problem is mainstream. The problem is, what do we do now? How do we spread the news, make it credible, and more importantly, acceptable to everyone? That this is exactly what happened. Okay, on a personal level, no news from Mr. Narcissist. I guess he's finally understood, or he just hates me. I guess that's okay. I didn't expect anything else. And my long-year crush got married. That was hard to deal with, but I'm happy for the couple. I guess I have to be. Still, I wonder, why am I still alone and unlucky in love? I do so want someone special in my life. I long for that special companionship, friendship, joyous moments of sharing a glass of something. or just wine together, talking about deep philosophical topics or just sweet nothings, laughing, flirting, just enjoying each other. Anyway, there is so much I could write about, but the purpose of this is to listen to what you, my guides, have to tell me. I've really missed your input, your words. I've exhausted myself way too much. I'm in much physical pain, actually, from my neck down into my hips, and I know I need to go. I need a break. I need to see my chiropractor. And I need you. So please, may I ask for some input, some soothing words? I'm listening. Okay, I'm breathing in, listening, and writing. And they respond to me. It truly has been a while, but we're glad you're delving a bit into the real world and staying out of the chaos. In fact, you've learned to step away more and more from things that are just not good for you. Your life is changing, even if you don't quite see it yet. You're not as stuck as you think you are. It would be good for you to earn your fortune, and we believe you will soon be able to do that. Keep showing your best. Keep showing up as your best. You're right. That's just who you are. Breathe. Things are pushing up against a few walls that have been holding back the light. But like floodwaters, these things will not be held back much longer. The walls will soon start crumbling. The dams will break. The truth will be so obvious for everyone to see. Even you don't know all of it, though your suspicions are spot on. You are right not to allow others to make you disbelieve your own intuition. The thing is, you are being faced with so much negativity, it's taking the limelight. The things going on behind the scenes are not getting enough attention. Macron in France recognizing the Gaza state and pledging assistance. Ukraine getting more help from Europe. The children, girls, women, the EPS victims are in fact coming forward and telling their stories. Kamala is taking one step at a time to prepare for her true calling. And that would be the President of the United States. I'm waiting, my guides. I'm calling out to you. Some insights, please. Something more that we do not know yet. And they respond, okay, darling. Weather events are going to take full attention away from everything else. Community is going to be a big new wave over the next few weeks and months. You saw it with the news people showing up at your club today, interviewing regular people from the community on what ails them. So refreshing. So if those of you don't know, I'm fully engaged with the German American Club, social club here in Cape Coral. And all of a sudden, the regular Wink News showed up at our club and was asking for input from the community. Just come in, do interviews with us, and tell us what you're working through and what bothers you and what ails you. And that's what they were referring to. So community is going to be a big new wave over the next few weeks and months. You saw it with the news people showing up at your club today, interviewing regular people from the community on what ails them. So refreshing. An interest in everyday topics, a pulling away from negativity, from poisonous politics. Yet, a huge storm is heading your way this summer. It will come from the east and hit on the east coast of Florida. Your home will be fine. You will be safe. There will be a lot to clean up, obviously, as always. Watch the reports closely. Be prepared. The Orange Menace is truly hanging on to his last gasping breaths. As long as he's getting attention, it doesn't matter how bad, he thrives somehow. The media needs to stop talking about him. The air needs to be deflated. Of course he's upset by the poll numbers, but it's still something to talk about him. You and your kind need to learn how to simply silence him. You are right to turn off any interview with him or any recording that focuses on his words. His words are meaningless. He's meaningless, and he's a joker, but he's getting attention. He thrives on attention. Drop him like a hot potato. You're absolutely right. There will be no midterms. There cannot be, because the term was fraudulent. Your nation will be facing a whole new set of circumstances. The rules need to be and will be rewritten. The Supreme Court will be in shambles. 4 or 5 of the justices will go. Thomas, Alito, Roberts, and either Kavanaugh or Gorsuch, or both. The ladies will remain, for now. The entire Supreme Court system will be reframed entirely. 13 judges. Kamala in the Supreme Court? Of course she's going to be involved in the Supreme Court. She'll be nominating them. The Epps files will have resounding effects. It will all have to come out. The truth always comes out sooner or later. It's the lies and the deceit that need mending. It's temperance, as in the tarot card. It's the law. The truth will come out. The truth will set everyone free. As for your personal life, yes, you're getting a lot of good attention. Your boss and the entire team are happy with what you're doing. However, you should not expect too much. If you do, you may be disappointed. We don't see you representing anyone in Vegas. There's a trade show coming up. You should take the job as something that will help you through until your big financial windfall arrives, and it will. You want to retire, you will. But take a few professional wins with you while you can. You are getting your name out there. And I say, are you sure I'm not going to Vegas? It feels so, like I am. And they say, do you want to? And I say, yes. And they say, you have a tendency to help others achieve their goals without taking credit for it for yourself. You may fall into that trap once again. You will have to step forward just a little bit more. Come out of the shadows. Guys, I say, I feel you're not really with me right now. And then they say, just pull some cards, love. You really have a lot you've been striving for. A home or palazzo in Italy, maybe? A home in France? A new love or a career here in Florida? There is so much you have wished for. And it's good that you're keeping the options open. Allow some time to pass. You will be rewarded whichever way you go. And, most importantly, you will be happy. It's August, the month you have been waiting for, the month when everything will be revealed, the month when everything will be shaken up. Be joyous in the knowing that a path will become clear everywhere. The dust will need to settle. But it will, and you will be grateful. Be grateful now. Ask for the most benevolent outcome and allow the universe to surprise you. Christmas in August. Be excited for good things to come without having to know everything right now. We love you. We've missed you. We understand why you haven't been able to write. But we've been by your side the whole time. Don't worry. Big hugs, they say. And I feel it. And I'm smiling. And I feel the hugs and the warmth. And I say to them, thank you. So, back to you. It always soothes my heart when I read that, and I'm able to read it to you, and I'm tearing up a little bit again. So what do you say to that? The Supreme Court, the community is going to be big. Watch for community news locally where you are. Maybe that's coming up on your end too. I have the feeling we're going to be stepping away from this nauseous political crap that we've been going through, and people are going to be focusing on local stuff, and where can we come together and help. So here I am. I'm just going to pull a card or two. Remember, YouTube, this is all for entertainment purposes only. This is just me rambling with my guides. Not much to it. And not too many people watching anyway. So if you are, thank you. I really appreciate it. I have got my Wisdom of the Oracle deck here. We've done this before. And I'm just going to pull a card on everything that we've discussed and spoken about here. I'm also going to pull a Law of Attraction card. And maybe maybe use my pendulum to see where we stand in our timeline. This card. Huh. Go the distance. So what did I see here? Go to the distance. The first thing I thought was, you know, put in your all, like I always do for my work, for me personally. But the card number is 47. Go the distance. Should we read what the book has to say? Why don't we? We've got time. We haven't been online for quite some time. Might as well. 47. Prosperity message. Your most precious dreams are not about instant gratification, but enduring prosperity. This is a time to think long-term and engage in continued action. You will experience momentum building as you translate the ebb and flow into slow and steady movement forward. Your efforts, ideas, and hard work now can lead to greater riches than you can imagine. I think that's what they said, right? The Oracle's message: to bring your dreams to life, you must think long-term and pay no attention to the fluctuations in the current of your experience. Joy and disappointment come... I don't know what that word is. Joy and disappointment commingle, I guess, with opportunities, so there is no need to fear the occasional obstacle. Life is not a sprint. Then relationship message: you are either in or calling in a harmonious relationship that can stand the test of time, for better or for worse, as you ride the ups and downs and even strain, break yourself, and are remade in new growth. You are being redeemed by the power of regeneration. It has a lot to do with my personal life and what I was thinking, but maybe also regeneration of our nation, right? So, I'm not happy with that card, I must say. I'm going to pull another one. See, spirit guides, please help me pull a card. There's something wrong with this screen. It feels like it's rocking back and forth, like I'm in some kind of boat. I hope that's not evident in the final product. We'll see. Just going to put it online later anyway and see what happens. So, hey, do you believe it? Number 46, regeneration. We were just talking about regeneration of a nation, regeneration of a community, consciousness, regeneration of whatever it is that needs to be rebuilding and reconstructed in your life personally, physically, in your community, in your nation, in your world. All right, then let's move on to see what Abraham has to say. Abraham Hicks in our Law of Attraction Well-Being cards. The teaching of Abraham, the well-being cards, right? Let's see what they have to say. And then we'll pull a few tarot cards, and I will ask the pendulum a few questions. How's that? Okay. Well, that was lying, that was looking at me the whole time, so I guess it wanted to be read. The law of attraction, the most powerful universal law, is my friend. See? You create with your every thought. By the universal law of attraction, that which is like unto itself is drawn. You are attracting the essence of whatever you are giving your attention to, wanted or unwanted. We don't want the orange menace. Let's stop talking about him. Right? Stop. Just stop giving him so much attention. He needs the attention to thrive. We don't want him to thrive. We want him to wither away. Go away. You've done enough. You can go now, is what I said to him today. You've done enough. Okay, and then they say, I make many decisions, and then I make them right. Yeah, so you can make a wrong decision, you can always make it right again. Isn't that cute? Your true work in this perfectly balanced universe is to weigh continually your new stimulation of thought against the existing beliefs within you, thereby deciding what you now want. So, what do we want now? Everyone can decide for themselves what they want in their own lives. Focus on that. We need to focus on what we want. It's not my responsibility to convince anyone of anything. And that is so true in our current situation. You know, we're not responsible for telling them. We know what's right. We know what we know, right? And they have to learn for themselves. And that's what this whole last 6 months that feel like 6 years have been about, is, you know, letting them learn for themselves. And they have to. Because we are a community, and as a community we must move together. We cannot continue as a divided nation. Make your decisions about what you want and set out to create the life experiences that you choose, and allow all others to do the same. And we're praying for the most benevolent outcome for everybody involved, which we believe would be a united community, United States, united in thinking, united in moving forward. Then I am going to take just my regular Rider-Waite cards. And we are moving forward, because the thing that came out was the Chariot, followed by the Ten of Swords. I think that would be the Orange Menace. We're moving forward. This is almost over. Then let's pull some more. Let's pull some more. We have been stabbed in the back. It's also the Ten of Swords. And we will be shedding some tears when we learn the whole truth, because we only know a partial amount of the truth. We have not heard all of it. When we hear it all, even those of us who have an inkling of understanding what's going on, we are going to be very sad for this nation. In fact, I already am. I have shed several tears for our country. Anyway, for whatever reason, these cards are all upside down. I guess I'm turning the wrong way. I'm going to turn them around. Turn your feet around. All right. Why am I singing Gloria Estefan? King of Cups. King of Cups. We heard from him yesterday. And he did a marvelous speech, right? Our Biden. So, that's where we stand. I think it's obvious when we're hearing now from Kamala and from Biden and from others, Obama, they're all speaking out at the same time, and we're hearing news about the Rockland files, and the case up in Rockland at the court, and we're hearing that things are going to have to be recounted in several of the states that were, you know, on the edge. So I'm just choosing my words, and also trying to make sense of what I'm thinking and talking about at the same time. We are going to be seeing a lot of recounting over the next few months, and a lot of the truth is going to come out, and I'm pretty sure we will have another president in office, a female, in December. By the end of the year, everything's going to look a lot different. We're going to have to go through this month of August. Is going to be tough for everybody. And because things are being shaken up, and they need to be shaken up. And So we shall just have to see. Six of Cups. We're all wishing we didn't have to go through this. We're thinking about the good times way back when, but you know. Four of Cups. The options on the table right now we do not like. I don't like any of them. King of Pentacles. The slowest moving king or knight. I'm sorry, the knight. The slowest moving knight of the deck. Everything is slow. Too slow for our liking. But then there's the victory card. So, in the end, we'll have good news. Right? And there's the Temperance card that we spoke about before. Temperance. Everything needs to come into balance. We are off balance, we are off kilter, but we're heading towards temperance. And temperance is also divine timing, so it's going to happen the way it happens. It's going to happen this year. We are not going to have midterms. I do not believe we're going to have midterms, and if I'm wrong, that's fine too. All right, let's see. I've got my pendulum here. We'll just ask. Will we have midterm elections next year in November? No. How are you going to have midterms if you find out that everybody that was so-called elected was not really elected? I mean, seriously. I got to do it all over again somehow, right? Okay. Will Kamala be sitting in the Oval Office in December, heading our country? That's a yes. Okay. Will all of this go down in the month of August? No. Will it begin in the month of August? Will the Orange Menace still be sitting in the Oval Office by September? No. Will Shady be sitting in the Oval Office in September? That's a no. We know that Biden took steps before he left office, that if anything fraudulent were to have happened, the military would take over. So is the military going to be taking over in September? Are plans in place? That was a yes, by the way, if you're just listening. Are plans in place to have a council of several former presidents of both parties to put things back in order between now and December? That is something that they do not want to answer. That's going round and round in circles. Okay, but that is what they had said to me before, so we'll just have to wait and see. Let's ask the question, will the Orange Menace have built the ballroom by the time he leaves? So, no. Will the White House remain as it is now? Will it need some reconstruction in the White House? That's a yes. Okay. Now to the personal. Will I be going to Vegas at the end of September for work reasons? This says yes. We'll have to wait and see. will I be going overseas to Europe for a Christmas party? For work? Very cool. So, we'll see about that. You know, I'm not very good. My record of my personal yes and no questions is not really the best. So, other things, yes. We'll see. We'll see. Anyway, Coco's over there looking at me saying, "Are you done yet? I want to go outside." Anyway, my loves, thank you for listening in. Sorry for putting you on hold for so long. I'm just trying to get my life in order. Like I said, fitting in 30 hours into a 24-hour day is not necessarily easy, but I'm doing my best. And I've missed you, and I'm going to try to be back more often again, as best I can. I have no idea what's coming towards me this week. But I'm just going to have to make you a priority, I guess. I love you all. Thanks for listening. Please like, subscribe, share, comment. I'd love to hear from you. I'd like to hear what your thoughts are. How are you doing? How are you doing? Tell me. Tell me how you're doing personally. How are you doing mentally? How are you overcoming all of this stress that we're going through right now? Love you all. Talk to you soon.